When we think of setting goals or targets, we often think that it needs something huge or drastic, or even moving halfway across the world for that once-in-a-lifetime job opportunity. Changing small habits every single day can compound over time, compared to setting a huge target in the future, which is often missed. And understanding how tiny habits do compound over time has given me the principles to achieve my goals from a creative, personal, and productivity angle. At the start of this year, I had 3 main goals: start a YouTube channel, start a property business, and build a community of like-minded people. And what I've learned is that rather than setting one big target at the end to get 1 million subscribers or have 10 different properties, the key is making small, simple steps every single day. And those tiny habits and small outcomes over time can compound into life-altering outcomes. This is what James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits. Before I get into the detail, let's start with the conclusion. So here is the book in 3 sentences. An atomic habit is a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but is also the source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth. The second sentence is, bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. And the third sentence, changes that seem small and unimportant at first will compound into remarkable results if you're willing to stick with them for many years. And you can break this down into 5 big ideas and themes within the book. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. If you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Instead, focus on the systems and processes to get there. The most effective way to change your habits is not to focus on the outcome that you want, but on who you wish to become. Number 4, there are 4 laws to behavioural change that you can implement to change your own habits. They are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And number 5, environment is the invisible hand that can shape habits. Okay, so let's dive into the detail. A goal is the result that you want to achieve, but a habit is the systems and processes that you put in place to achieve and get to that goal. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't set goals in life. A lot of people don't know what they want to do in 1 or 2 years' time, and that's the same whether that's personal and in business as well. It's quite shocking. But then for the people who do set goals and spend a lot of time goal setting, all they're doing is merely setting a direction where they want to go. To hit those actual goals, we need to focus on the systems and processes to get there. The reality is, winners and losers have the exact same goal. Every Olympian wants the gold medal, every candidate wants the job. So it isn't goals that set us apart from others, because it's only a momentary achievement. In fact, goals restrict happiness because we continually measure ourselves against the delta between where we are today and where we need to get to meet our goals. And then when we do hit the goals, we have a momentary celebration and then set more goals that we have to then try and meet again. So the reality of setting a goal is purely to win the game. And the purpose of building the system and process is to continue playing the game. We simply don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So as we know, changing habits can be really, really difficult. Now, habits and changing them can be difficult for 2 main reasons. Number 1, we focus our efforts on changing the wrong things. And number 2, we change our habits in the wrong way. And there are 3 layers to behavioural change. The first is changing our final outcomes, or the goals themselves. This is about your result, be that losing weight, starting a business, writing a book. This is the goals layer. The second is tweaking the systems and the processes to help you obtain your results. If you want to get fit in the gym and look like a Gymshark model, then unless you buy that gym membership and actually go 3 or 4 times a week, you won't hit that goal. This is all known as the habits layer. Thirdly is within yourself. It's your identity and beliefs. If you don't believe that you're a healthy person and that you'll never end up looking like a Gymshark model, chances are you'll never get there. However, if you simply alter your self-image and belief that by taking those small steps every single day, eating that one salad, eating that piece of fruit and generally eating more healthily, and then continually going to the gym, then you can start to believe that you're making the right progress through your own habits. So why does this all matter? Well, by understanding this helps us focus on our values, principles, and identity to generate a continuous feedback loop, rather than focusing on an end goal. In simple terms, you focus on becoming the kind of person you want to be to meet the goals, rather than the goals themselves. So what does this all do for us if we start to change our habits? And this is where we introduce the 1% rule. The book explains that you'll be 37.78 times better at the end of the year due to the compounding effect over time. Now, This is a little arbitrary because you could ask, what does 1% actually mean? As long as you can see that you're doing something better every single time that you do it, then you're definitely on the right tracks and making the right progress. The premise is that you can get 1% better every day, but if you get 1% worse every day or every time you do something, you still can't go below 0. It's really hard to see change over time because we live in an age where we need and have constant, immediate gratification. If you post your first image on Instagram, why don't you have 100,000 followers straight away? If it's your first YouTube video, why don't you have 1 million subscribers within the first week? With compounding change, we expect a linear result. However, it takes time for compounding to truly take effect. And because we set ourselves up to compare against what we expect to be a linear line, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And this is known as the valley of disappointment. Now we've explored habits and how to change them, how do we make changing them easier? The book explains that this can be broken down into 4 areas. Number 1, environmental design. The idea behind this is that you put less steps in between you and good habits, and more steps in between you and bad habits. If you know that you should be eating more healthily, the last thing that you should be doing is having a bar of chocolate ready to go on your desk. Instead, by replacing that chocolate with fruit or nuts, and replacing the unhealthy food with healthy foods, when you're in the kitchen or when you're at your desk, you're more likely to grab that healthy food. And therefore, because of the way you've designed your environment, you make it easier to change that habit. The second is make it attractive. As humans, we love the anticipation of getting a reward before we get that final hit of dopamine. Simply put, if you're trying to get healthier, for example, and you hate running, then find another sport that you actually find that you want to do. For example, take up cycling, you could join a local class every single week, and then you can turn what feels like a chore into something that's enjoyable and that you want to do. And naturally, the body wants to reward itself with dopamine for satisfying that reward. The third is make it easy, and this is all about reducing the friction between you and good habits, and it's very similar to the first example with environmental design. If you find yourself having to walk to the kitchen to grab some fruit and that's a lot of effort, then have a fruit bowl by your desk so that it's really easy to simply grab over and then grab some fruit. That way, you reduce the friction between you and a good habit. And number 4 is to immediately make it satisfying. Naturally, humans prioritize faster gratification than the slower burning, longer rewards. So if you can find a way to reframe your habits to get immediate satisfaction, then that's going to really help. Habits are not meant to be a line that you cross similar to a goal. Instead, it's a lifestyle that you want to achieve. And that's changed with small steps over time, which then compounds into remarkable results. And to flip this all on its head and to look at bad habits, all you simply do is need to do the opposite. Make it invisible by reducing your exposure to it, make it unattractive and reframe your mindset, make it difficult by increasing the friction, and lastly, make it unsatisfying by asking someone to watch what you're doing or be accountable to the public. A great quote in the book is, "The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom." We get bored with goals because after a while that initial honeymoon period wears off, and then we slip out of a routine of trying to hit that goal that we initially set. And that's where setting a process of consistent habits will ensure that you get past that process and eventually hit your end outcome based on that process and that system. If you're looking to reflect on your progress within a year, typically we would ask, or your employer would ask, 3 main questions. The first is what went well this year. The second is what didn't go so well this year. And thirdly is how can we improve? Instead, you should be reframing this as a yearly integrity and habits report, and instead ask these 3 questions. 1, what are the core values that drive my life and work? 2, how am I living and working with the right habits right now? 3, how can I set a higher standard and improve my habits going forwards? I hope you found that useful and took some learnings from it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for way more videos, and if you found value in the video, please remember to hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.